What's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? What I have for you today in this video is just want to give you guys my thoughts about the most recently announced Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. Samsung has held their most recent Unpacked event in Barcelona, Spain, announcing these two products and basically gave a brief discussion at their press conference on what these devices are about and what they're capable of, as well as the top new features that are coming to these devices. Now, I have just watched their event. Basically, the majority of it was about the camera, but then towards the end, we got to hear a brief description of how these two devices are going to cooperate very well with the enterprise environments, especially for IT departments within those enterprise environments as well. First thing I want to mention is that they have a new aperture feature for the cameras, where basically if you're in a darker environment, the pictures can be a little bit brighter when taking photos in those particular very dark environments. So for those of you guys that love to take pictures at night all the time, this is definitely going to be a benefit for sure. So that way your pictures don't look too dark, but at least the light or the low light effect will be a little bit better when taking photos in dark environments. And then of course it's going to process these photos or images a lot faster with the new camera built in. And they also announced a feature called the Super Slow-Mo, and it's basically a slow motion effect at 960 frames per second, I believe, or maybe that was like the resolution. I'm pretty sure it was frames per second if I recall correctly. But basically, it just allows the video to be a little bit slower motion versus what you would find on just a standard slow motion feature, which is pretty neat for those of you guys who love to take slow motion content all the time. Definitely very useful for physical activities, whether it's like skateboarding or playing sports, maybe driving. There's tons of other things. The list can go on and on for this particular feature to be useful. And you can also set one of your super slow contents as your lock screen to make the phone more personalized to your liking. And then of course the pictures that you take can be used for AR emojis, and it'll be compatible with Google's AR Core for augmented reality. What's neat about the camera is that if you use Bixby, which I haven't used yet so far on my Note 8, but Bixby allows or is able to help you translate words into your preferred language. And all you would basically just have to do is hold your phone up to the word that you want translated, and then basically it'll translate the word to your liking using the built-in camera, of course. They did mention that the Galaxy S9 Plus is going to have the dual camera system on there. So if you were to get the regular Galaxy S9, you're only going to have a single lens on there, whereas the Galaxy S9 Plus, you'll have the dual lens on there. So very similar setup as what you would find on the Galaxy Note 8. As far as screen sizes are concerned, the Galaxy S9 will be in 5.8 inches, and the Galaxy S9 Plus will be in 6.2 inches. The pre-orders have already started back in March 1st, and then March 16th will be like the actual release date when it's released in stores. Although possible chances that if you pre-order your S9 already, then you're gonna get it earlier before the launch date. And maybe you already have right now if you had attended the press conference event. What are my overall thoughts about the S9 and the S9 Plus? And I guess I can also include my thoughts about the event itself. So in the past, I've always been satisfied with Samsung's events and how they go about announcing the new products. My thoughts have always been positive. The S9 and the S9 Plus event was pretty positive, but I would say my favorite one had to be the one where they announced the Note 8, because the S9 that they had announced just now, I guess the big target feature that was integrated was basically a better camera setup on this particular device. And while that's great and all, I'm pretty sure there was a lot more into this right here. They did mention one thing that was outside of the camera aspect. So they talked about the enterprise environment, because obviously Google had announced this new feature where they're trying to make like Android phone recommendations for the enterprise businesses out there. And Samsung wanted to throw out on why these devices are so convenient for the IT departments in these particular environments. So the majority of the event was mostly about the camera system and what they have done to improve the camera setup and the camera features. But in regards to anything else, I feel like they haven't really discussed much about it. So in this case, yes, they did mention about how these devices will impact the ecosystem of the enterprise environments. I just wish that we might have been able to see a little bit more detail on how this is going to work, and I guess how IT departments are able to manage this. But I guess maybe they don't want to show this information except when the enterprise environments request for these once they get the devices. So this event, it's not a bad one. It was more for, I guess you can say, entertainment purposes, and entertainment purposes is great and all. I would have also liked to see how it all integrates into the workforce as well. But overall, these devices look very similar to the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus that were released last year. Who knows, maybe like the size might be either exactly the same or maybe similar, but just slightly different. However, they both look the same between two platforms, but that doesn't make the S9 and the S9 Plus bad devices out there. Now, as far as the pricing is concerned, the pricing is just about up par on what the Note 8 was when it was originally released at the very beginning. Obviously, there was like a price increase, unfortunately, but this is where you make the decision if you want to upgrade. Although for the top two carriers, I will say would be AT&T and Verizon. They do have good trade-in deals depending on which phone that you trade in for your Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. But overall, what are my thoughts about the devices themselves? Like I said before, they're great devices just from looking at them. They definitely have improved hardware for sure and an improved camera setup. We'll just have to see how these stack up with all the competitors out there and how it compares to last year's S8 and S8 Plus, and if it's worth an upgrade. I'm assuming it may not be worth an upgrade, but if you were on the S8 and the S8 Plus, then you would have to make a decision and give yourself a good reason on why you should upgrade. Now, if you're on the S7 or the S6, then I would definitely recommend upgrading for sure, whether that's going to the S9 and S9 Plus, or if you want to go to a different platform and possibly maybe go with Apple on the iPhone 10 or the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. But other than that, can't wait to see how these devices impact the consumer. What do you guys think? Do you guys love it? Hate it? Do you think that Samsung could have done more with the S9 and the S9 Plus? I'd like to see what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, rate, comment. Check out the description below for my social media links, Twitter and Instagram. See you in the next one. Take care, everybody.